Welcome back to Crafts by KMW. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and watching it. I truly appreciate it, and I hope that you will enjoy it and get something out of it. If you do, please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, as well as any other videos you watch of mine. And I hope you will consider subscribing to my channel, not only to support me and my channel's growth, but also to have access to all of my previous content, as well as the new videos that I upload. So today I am going to try, test, and review a set of watercolor pencils. So here it is right here. It is the Staedtler 18 count watercolor pencil set. So I got these at Michael's and they were $19.99. I had a choice of 3 different manufacturers and various sets of different pencil counts within that. So they had the Artist Loft, which is Michael's brand of what I consider budget art supplies. Then they had the Staedtler, and then they also had some Derwents. The Derwent set was a set of 12 for $30. And this is my very first set of watercolor pencils. I've never tried them before. So I decided not to get the Mac Daddy goat of watercolor pencils and forego the Derwents for now. I figure if I really like watercolor pencils and I use these up and I want to get another set, I can then go ahead and buy some Derwents. But right now, I don't think I need the best quality watercolor pencils. There are others that I can buy that will be suitable for me right now. And then I kind of eliminated the Artist Loft because I have bought some other Artist Loft supplies and it's hit or miss. Like sometimes they're really good and then other times they're just junk. I had bought some of their colored pencils before and they were worse than Crayola. They were very hard. They were not pigmented at all, and they blended. They really didn't blend. So I was kind of skeptical, having had experience with their regular colored pencils, that the watercolor pencils would work. So I decided to go with the Staedtler. So they come in a really cute tin with this pretty picture on top, and then on the back it gives you some directions on how to use them, and then it gives you a little bit of information about the pencils. So it says that they are break resistant, they're 3mm leads, and just in case you're not aware, those are larger leads than your regular like Prismacolor pencils or regular pencils. So if you want to use them in a pencil sharpener, you need to make sure that the sharpener has a wide enough opening. I have a electric sharpener, an AFMAT, that I will not be able to sharpen these pencils in because I think that opening is 2-point-something millimeters. So I'll have to use a handheld for these. And then it says they're easy to grip, ergonomic shape, soft lead for amazingly bright effects on watercolor paper with water and a paintbrush. Highly pigmented colors are easy to blend. So that sounds good, exactly what I would want. So it has like a little plastic thing that it was hanging from. So, all right. So there's nothing inside the top of the tin. All right, so here are the pencils. They're just inside your normal black plastic holder. So let me pick one of these up. I think I'll pick up the black one. So it has printing in silver. So it says Staedtler, and then it has a number, and then here it has a symbol, and I'm assuming this is the shape of the pencil. So the pencil is triangular. I hope you can see that. So it is triangular, and I think that's great because these will sit on the table or wherever you're working flat and will not roll off. And if you're a cat owner, this is a big bonus because hopefully it will make it harder for your cat to push your pencils off the edge of the table. So I'm not sure what this number means. So let me pick up another one. They don't have any color names. All right, so here's another one. So this one has the exact same numbers on it. So I'm assuming that these numbers are not color numbers. They're like lot numbers or product numbers. So these don't have any identifiable color names or numbers, which is kind of odd. Usually pencils do, but for me, that's not a big problem. I'm okay with it. I have 18. I can clearly see what colors are here. So you get a brown and a black. There's 3 shades of green, a light, a medium, a dark. There's 3 shades of blue, light, medium, and dark. There's 2 purples, more of a kind of a reddish purple and more of a bluish purple. There are 2 pinks, and this may also be more of a salmon or a peach color. I'll have to see how that looks when I try it. There's a red, 2 oranges, 2 yellows, and there's even a gold. Wow, I'm really excited about gold. I didn't expect to have a gold in this set. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm just going to color some on some regular paper and just see how they work, how they feel. So I'm using black first. All right, so the leads are pretty hard. I am using medium pressure here and going over it quite a bit. So I would akin these to like oil-based colored pencils. Oil-based pencils are a little bit harder. They have harder leads. I guess another way you could call it is a little bit scratchy. So these are a little bit scratchy, but you can layer them. So as you keep applying color, it does layer well. And then I'm gonna try one more. I'm gonna try this lighter pink because I wanna see if it actually is a pink or if it's more of a peach. Yeah, I would say it's probably more of a peach. This is probably a good flesh tone color. I think that's pretty cool because I wouldn't expect to get a skin tone or a fleshy color in a small set like this. So again, they're a little bit hard, a little bit scratchy. I think that will probably be good as far as sharpening. You can probably color quite a while before you have to keep sharpening them. They are pre-sharpened, but I wouldn't say they have, you know, super sharp tips on them. Some people like their tips to be really, really sharp and really pointed. I don't care. I usually just use the tips as they are, so that way I don't feel like I'm wasting any of the pigment and the lead. All right, so now I just have a paintbrush and a cup of water, and I'm gonna see how these work when activated. So this is just regular copy paper. I am actually going to use these in a coloring book. You can see I have a book behind the tin of pencils, but I just want to see how it works on this plain copy paper first. Oh, nice. Okay. So it's definitely very watercolor looking, without a doubt. Now, again, this is not the best paper. So these results are by no means anything that you should take as, oh, you know, oh, look how it looks on that paper. They're not that good. This is copy paper, and copy paper is not good for any kind of watercoloring or anything. But I just wanted to see how the pigment dissolves. And it seems like the pigment dissolves very, very well. I did quite a few layers on the black and the blue, not as much on the peach. And it did dissolve pretty well. So let me bring this up to you and you can see that a little bit better. You don't really see any of the pencil marks anymore. So they did dissolve quite well. So now I'm actually going to go to my book. So I am using Millie Murata's Wildlife Wonders. And I chose a page that I'm not super in love with. So I like this page, but it's not one of my favorites. So in case I ruin it or the background doesn't turn out exactly the way I want it to, I'm not going to be that upset. So this is a flying fox. So if you're wondering what I did is I looked at the back. She provides a list of all the animals, and I just went through and wrote a sticky note and put it on each of the pages so I know what the animal is that I'm coloring. Just something that I like to do. It makes it easier too if you want to color it in real life colors. That way you know what the name of the animal is right away and you can look it up. So I'm going to work on this part of the background here. I'm not going to do a whole background because I don't think you really need to see that, but I'm going to do a portion here and see what happens. So I'm going to do this as sky. So I'm going to use my blues. So let me pull out these blue pencils. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep these in the tin. I house my colored pencils in rotating carousels like this. So I will probably put them in one of those, but for right now, I'm going to keep them in the tin. All right, so I'm going to start with the darker color. Now, I would imagine on regular watercolor paper, these probably work much better. It's probably not super desirable to not use these on watercolor paper. However, as a colorist, you know, I color in coloring books. I'm not making my own art. So I am not going to be coloring on watercolor paper. The directions say to draw your image on watercolor paper and then rub the color on a separate sheet of paper like I did here, and then dip your paintbrush in water, activate the color, and then paint it on your paper. But again, as colorists, we don't do that. We work right in the book on the page. So that is what I'm going to do. So I know that I probably am not going to get exactly the effect of these watercolor pencils that I would get if I was using watercolor paper. Now, I imagine I could copy a page that I wanted to do with watercolor pencils using my printer onto watercolor paper, but since I pay money for the books, I don't really want to be using a lot of extra money to use different paper. So I'm just doing a basic kind of 3-row So this is the darker blue, the medium blue, and now I'm using the lighter blue. And I'm gonna go back and do another layer on each of these, but I just wanted to get some color down as a first layer. All right, so since I'm working on this one, I'm gonna go ahead and add more. So how many layers you do of color will definitely impact how dark and bright your colors are. I don't necessarily want this to be super dark, but I definitely want it to show up. So I am going to be adding a few layers on here. So I'm just going to go back and forth now. These lines that you see forming here are the lines of the sticky note that I have on the opposite page. I'm not really worried about that because I'm going to be activating these to make watercolor, so I'm hoping that those lines will disappear. If I was coloring with regular colored pencils, I would have removed that sticky note. Now I am noticing, and you probably see that some chunks of the leads are kind of falling off the pencils, and I'm having to brush them away. I am not sure what that is. I don't think I've ever had that happen before with any kind of pencil, colored or otherwise. So that's kind of weird. So I guess, I don't know. Is that because the leads are weaker? I don't know. All right, and now I'm just gonna go back and add more color to the darker line. If you have these watercolor pencils, I'd love to know what you think of them and what books you like to use them in. I would assume I will be using these in coloring books that have better paper, better quality paper, like Millie Murata, Kirby Roseanne's books have really good paper. Hannah Carlson's books have pretty good paper. The mythographic books have high quality paper. So I think I'll be using these in books with better paper. And one thing I will say, I absolutely love that these are triangular and stay put. I can kind of plop it down wherever and it stays in place. I do like that. All right, so now I'm gonna activate this and see what happens. Now this paper has a bit of a coating on it. It's not matte paper. It has a little bit of a sheen to it. And I don't know if that's impacting it a lot. I'm not truly sure. I'm not using a whole lot of water. The paintbrush is not super wet. I like the darker shade a lot. It seems to be doing really well. The lighter shades, I don't know. I don't know if it's just blues, because blues are kind of traditionally harder to work with. And sometimes they're not very pigmented as pigmented as other colors. The lighter colors seem a little bit off. All right, now this doesn't look so great on these edges. I'll need to add more colored pencil but just to give you an idea. So let me bring this up closer so you can see. So it seems to be a little bit streaky, and it could be because I just needed more layers of pencil. So maybe when I use this paper, I just need to use more colored pencil. I'm sorry about the shadows. It's dark outside, so I needed to turn my lights on. But overall, I like the effect. I think I would need to maybe use a bigger brush. You can see a little bit of the brush strokes. And again, I don't know if that's this paper or if that's just the pencils themselves, but I will definitely try these on different paper, like in a mythographic book, or even The Beauty of Horror by Alan Robert. Those books do not have any kind of sheen or anything on the paper. So, and neither do Hannah Carlson's books. Her paper is very pulpy and it doesn't have any kind of a coating on it. So maybe they might work a little bit differently in there. But overall, I think these are pretty decent pencils for the price. Again, I got 18 for $19.99 at Michael's. I imagine they might be cheaper in some other places. I was wondering how much they would be on Amazon. I just didn't get a chance to look, but because I had the gift card, that's why I just bought them at Michael's. Normally, I try to get the cheapest price, but yeah, overall, I think they're pretty nice. I hope that I will be able to go over this part that I already did once it dries, add some more in there, and get it to a point where it doesn't look so streaky, because the sky does not look streaky. So I don't want that look. But yeah, they were fun to use. They were easy to use, and I think they will be different on different types of paper, and I'm looking forward to trying those out. If I do a color along, well, I will do another color along in the future, and if I decide to use these on them, I'll definitely choose a book that is different paper than this, so I can test them out and see how they work on there. I do want to give this gold a try, so what I'm gonna do is I am going to do just a little section of this bat. So right in here, I'm gonna do these little leaves here, because if I don't like it, I can always go over it, so with a darker color. So I don't feel like I am messing this up. Now it almost looks kind of greenish on the paper. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't really look gold. All right, so I'm going back over and adding multiple layers. There is a little bit of sparkle, so this is definitely meant to be a little bit of a sparkly gold. All right, so I am really trying to take most of the water out of the paintbrush. All right. Okay, so let me show that to you up close. I don't know how I feel about it. So, all right, it's still obviously very wet, but I don't know how gold it looks. So I'll show you on my hand, on my finger, I have a sparkly gold nail wrap. And I would not say that that looks anything close to that. It actually looks more green than it looks gold. I don't know if it will dry differently. I'm kind of thinking it won't. I'm kind of thinking that's the color it's going to be. I must say I'm disappointed. I really was hopeful that that gold would be a really pretty gold, but as you can see next to a real gold, it is not. I am disappointed about that, but otherwise for the price, I think this is a nice set of tester, you know, first set watercolor pencils for somebody who is trying watercolor pencils for the first time like me. So I would recommend them. If I were to give it like a number of stars, like say out of 5 stars, I'd say maybe 3.5, just because they have no color names or any way to identify the colors. The gold does not look very great, and they are kind of hard and scratchy where you definitely need to put multiple layers on. And some of the lighter colors don't seem to work as well. Now, I just tried out the blues. Some of the other lighter colors might be different, but I'm thinking they will probably be very similar. So I think you need to layer them a lot to get good depth of color if that's what you're looking for. So I hope this video was helpful, inspirational, and hopefully a little entertaining. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, please give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel to support me and my channel's growth. I will truly appreciate it. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a very wonderful and a very crafty day.